What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. You're watching the weekly Monday Market Watch. We do these every Monday and Friday, and we talk about some Lorcana news, trending meta cards, and card prices. So if you like this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you are a Lorcana Goon. Today, I am joined with none other than Zach Stone. Once again, my homie, aka owner of Stone Brand Cards, who also works at Frankensons in his own booth selling Yu-Gi-Oh, Lorcana, and plenty of other card games to make a living. Zach, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Kevin?
I'm awesome. We played locals last night, and I haven't played locals in a minute, so that gave me like a new brain refresher for Lorcana, and I feel very excited for the format.
Dude, me too. Me too. I had a nice tournament experience. We took a loss, I think, round 3, and it was to the eventual winner of the tournament, our fellow goon Mike. He played Ruby Amethyst to take it in a first place victory. So yeah, some of the cards that we're going to talk about on today's Market Watch are cards that I played, Kevin played, and some cards that I even saw in Michael's deck. So I'm very excited to talk about them, and I'm very excited to move on forward with the new I would say the new meta, because everything's shifting, everything's changing, and I'm very excited. What about you?
Yeah, man. I also want to mention that we had 2 huge tournaments this weekend. We had the Taya Beastie Online Pixelborn tournament that was like 180 players, and then we had the Charlie's Collectibles show that had like 280 some players, and we uploaded videos on both of those tournament reports. But you're gonna see how this weekend of big tournaments is making an impact already just one day later in the market. So I'm really excited to get into that.
Some cards to talk about, but yeah, in the very beginning, some of the things that are catch my eye right away. That Talkative Puppet's $50 when the market price is 40.
Oh yeah, the promo one. Yep, the promo Talkative, but we brought that up last time. But yeah, let's get on into this.
Yeah.
Let's get on into this Market Watch. All right, Zach, first I want to go over some trending Enchanted news. I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of these Enchanted rare cards, but a lot of the ones from the first chapter have been going up. Look at this. The Sorcerer Stitch today alone has already seen 2 sales in that $300 range. Over the weekend, the ones that were less than $300 all sold. So we have a sale for $275, $298, and those confirmed for $300. And right now, lowest verified listing is going to be by Next Rich Games for $319 with 98 cents. And that's for a near mint. There's only 12 listings left, so you cut out the first few, and we start hitting $339, $349 pretty quickly. So that's kind of nice to see. A lot of the first chapter Enchanted rares going back up in price, especially Elsa Spirit of Winter. My goodness, look at this. Yesterday we had a confirmed sale for $994, and then on Friday one for $934. I was talking about this on Friday, how when the Elsas are in that $700 to $800 range, they've been selling really quickly, and I thought it was going to take some time before we saw any sales above $1,000, but we're getting close to that price, man. A raw Elsa for $994. And if you want an Elsa, lowest near mint from a verified seller today is going to be by Trusted TCG Exchange for 999 smackers. But we do have a non-verified seller who has a near mint for 850, and I get the feeling that that one isn't going to last very long right here on the availability, man. So what do you think about these first chapter Enchanted, man? They're going up. They're going up.
These first chapter Enchanted are the chase. I can't tell you how many people want first chapter things. You guys got to remember that the people that don't play the card game that love Disney, want to get the first of something because that's what they believe is going to hold the value, and it's what they can relate to other TCGs like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. Like the first of those sets or cards from the first of those sets are the ones that are the most prestigious or generally are harder to obtain, especially in really good condition. But knowing what we know now with TCGs, a lot of people are going to take care of their stuff. A lot of people are going to be a lot more careful handling and buying these things. And that's why you got to look at the verified trusted sellers with a lot of good feedback too. Don't just necessarily trust the first verified you see. See their feedback. See how often people, share an experience rather than leave no feedback at all. All this just to, give you better peace of mind while you're shopping for your favorite cards on TCG Player.
Yep. Good advice, man. And there's also some PSA listed ones here. A PSA 10 listed for $2,200. And the last time I saw a PSA 10 a confirmed sale through 130 point, it was selling for around $1,700 to $1,800. So this isn't too far-fetched in my opinion. But there's a couple more. There's one more first chapter Enchanted that I want to mention that's I noticed been going up in price. It's the Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer. Remember, this card was probably like trailing behind Elsa, and then it did fall. It was like selling for like around close to $400 in its peak, and it did fall down all the way back to around $150. But it's been picking up in price again, man. Last week they were selling for definitely less than 250. We have a lot of sales last week from 219, 220, 230. But as of today, yesterday, 2 sales for $255, and this morning another one sold for 240 near mint. And if you want a near mint lowest verified, we have Geronimo trades for 253. And if you want somebody with a little bit more sales than that, $254 by Ronin TCG. So 17 listings for the Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer, but that's another one that's been going up as well. And then there's a couple more enchants that I really like to pay attention to, because we were looking at Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. I don't know, did you see that video I did where like they sold for like one sold for like 450, and then there was like only 5 listings, and they were like in that $500 range or whatever, and it was a little bit exaggerated. And I did mention that it looked very suspect, you know. So my personal opinion was that it was gonna stick around the $300+ range though, but not $400, and that's kind of what happened. Yesterday we saw 2 sales for $334, and over the weekend a couple more sales for more than $300. So this card's more than $300 now, which is what I thought was more than a reasonable price. But now there's 18 listings. Lowest verified is by Pokédex TCG, 320. So now a 320 Enchanted Rare Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. But Alice Growing Girl has also been going up in price. This is another one from the Rise of the Floodborn. I know some people don't like to believe us when we say that like the princesses and the waifus have a little bit of an extra tax, but you know, it does take a while for them to catch up to the trends, because this Alice was selling for like 150 confidently for a cool minute in February, and it took a little bit of time. But right now we have a couple of confirmed sales on the 17th, 175, 175, 169, etc. And the lowest verified now for a near mint is 175. So it's not just the first chapter Enchanted Rares, but those are obviously the more expensive ones, but the Floodborn Enchanted Rares are slowly starting to get there. You feel me?
Of course, the cards that I've also been like paying a little bit more attention to are just like the Madam Mim Purple Dragon and the Relentless Beasts, because although they don't really see the biggest uptick in price, there is only still a handful of listings at their bottom out. So what I think happens is eventually over time they just get bought, but none really get listed, and a lot of people either keep them because they're too cheap, or they, you know, would rather trade them for other cards because they want to collect more cards in the game. But the handful of stores that do decide to sell them list them at a higher price point and don't decide to alter that price. And eventually those sell, because we're looking at Alice, you know, grow up into a better price. I would say at $164. It's like, you know, 100 less than the percentage of people that watch our videos and don't subscribe. So, you know, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're still with us right now.
Yes, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because it does support the channel. And if you are a Lorcana Goon, we would appreciate if you join the Lorcana Goon Discord, link in the description. But yeah, that 164 price points for a light plate, and near mint's going to be a little bit more than that. So, you know, if you are an Enchanted chaser, just know some of them are still pretty cheap right now. If you want to cop those cheap ones before they go back up, a lot of the Floodborn Enchanted are starting to dip below $100 again, like the Tremaines and the Arthurs and whatnot. But let's stop talking about the Enchanted Rares. I want to talk about some meta staples, because Beast Tragic Hero only has 48 listings, and they're all still selling for close to $60. My goodness, bro. And we've just seen some lists top from this weekend that aren't even playing Beast Tragic Hero, which is kind of crazy. But for you know, 54.84, you can pick up one Beast from Blast Toys Gaming today. And if you want to get a cold foil, they're still selling for close to $100. There's only 7 cold foil listings right here. Ooh, lowest verified is going to be by Friendly Market for $90. And after that one sells, the next listing is at $99. My goodness. I'm pretty sure Beast is going to be over $100 as a foil this format. That's just my opinion. Just because of the way Rapunzel was in the Chapter 1 format, you know. I think this card is kind of like a Rapunzel in a sense, you know?
Oh, this card is by far probably the best steel card to come out as of right now. It is a shiftable character, and we still have yet to get a 1 or 2 drop Beast. So the potential for this card to just get better is always there. We have Morph, but then you're playing Emerald Steel, and that's the deck that I don't see too many people choosing the Pilot right now. But again, this card by far is the strongest steel card. Being able to kill locations if he ever gets damaged, or even if he is damaged. Amber Steel took first place recently, so healing up that beast and drawing more cards just is the way to go right now. And yeah, the $100 price point is well deserved. He definitely is $100 cold foil in my opinion.
Yeah, pretty cool to see. It's just a really hard card to come by in general. Another interesting card that has been going up in price is Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. People were asleep on this card in the beginning of the format. I'm not really sure why these went. I mean, I do know why. They dipped to as low as $20, and a lot of it was because people were playing Ruby Amethyst with mostly locations. And then we've come to realize that like Sapphire Ruby is just as good a deck this format, if not better than it was last format. And Ruby Amethyst is still playing the Maleficent Monstrous Dragon either 2 or 4 copies of. So they have shot back up all the way to past $30. In fact, lowest verified today by Ken Tech Cards has you for $34. So yeah, I would probably value this card at like $35 again, you know. And it wasn't, you know, so if you waited too long to get your Maleficent Dragons, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more now. But if you did get them when they were dipping to as low as like $20, hey, congrats to you. That's a come up, right? I like this card a lot. I say it every time we talk about it. This card's never gonna go out of style. It just does everything you want it to do in a card game, you know. And the cold foils are still pretty expensive and going up again. Portland Game Store has you for $71.40 for the lowest verified on the cold foil, and we did see some cold foils selling this weekend for $72, $75. Look at all these that sold for $66, $68. So all the ones in the $60 range are gone now. So if you want your cold foil Maleficent Monstrous Dragons, shout out Mike, by the way, who's still looking for his, you're gonna have to pay like $70 now. And yeah, he was talking about how he regretted not picking them up when they were right here in this like $45 to $50 range, or even earlier in December when they were as low as $43, $40 for the cold foils, because now the non-foils are basically the price of the way the cold foils were back in December.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, this card is actually just too strong of a card, and I was actually just thinking that this card could become a like set championship Enchanted. I don't know why I had that thought right now, but I think it would be really cool if they decided to do that eventually. It's well deserving. This card will not get out of style until it really gets power crept, because characters like Madame Medusa and Lady Tremaine, although being strong themselves, don't just do what this card does.
They have like very specific conditions. This card is an inkable card as well, and it quests for 2. And it has 7 strength. It just does everything you want it to do in a Lorcana card right now. Very, very powerful. And compared to Rapunzel Gifted with Healing, this card, I love the price of this card right now. I kind of want to get some of these from these non-verified sellers. Last Friday, I saw that they were dipping less than $30, and I tried to get them. And when the Market Watch video was over, they were gone. You know what I mean? And today, we have a non-verified seller who has 3 of them. Ike on a Bike, shout out you. You have 3 of them for $26.69, less than $30. I like that price. Again, this card I also feel very strongly about. You don't have to play it necessarily, but it's just a card that I feel like I want to have a playset of, because when it does become super duper relevant, it's super powerful. Rapunzel Gifted with Healing, plenty of sales happening for less than $30. If you do want to go by a verified seller, Blorg's Hobby Shop has you for $29.02. Rapunzel Gifted with Healing coming down in price on the non-foil market if you want a non-foil. Even the foil is kind of coming down a little bit. We have some foils here selling for $55 with $2 shipping, $60 with $1 shipping. These are non-verified sellers. A light plate here for $61. Lowest verified for the near mint though is still gonna cost you about $70+. If we go to the near mint lowest verified, we have $67.01 by Seek One Collectibles with $1.29 shipping. So basically $70 still for this this verified near mint Rapunzel.
Yeah, the card is actually now out of I would say it doesn't have the first place price, the highest legendary spot in the first chapter anymore. Yeah, and that's a shock to see, because in the beginning this was the chase, this was the card everyone wanted, and although Ruby Amethyst was also still a powerful deck, Steel Song in chapter 1 was by far the best deck if played correctly and played efficiently. And this card is definitely a big reason why, and it's only going to get better. They're releasing more 4-cost songs too, and that's important because her being able to sing those 4-cost songs is very critical. And it'll never be, this card will never be bad as long as we're in a format where like 2 and 3 strength characters are around, because you can always like bump into them or trade into them and heal up your characters and draw.
Yeah, especially in combination with Mr. Smee right now, this card is amazing. I like this card a lot. It's really good. But I kind of, like I said, I like the price point right now in the $20-ish, like $20+ range. I feel like this card in like $20+ range is a steal. So my opinion. Some other cards that have been trending in this recent format are like Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Obviously, this card was selling for a lot more in the beginning of the format. Now that the format has slowed down, though, we can see the prices coming down a little bit. There's way more available listings than there was before. You can get a near mint non-foil for $31.98 from Red Rhino right here, and the cold foil selling for around $40 again, which is cool. We have a couple sales confirming that: $42, $42.25, $41.99, $41. So around the $41 price range are the recent comps for the cold foils. And look at this, we have TCB trading cards. They have you for $41.99 for the cold foil Robin Hood Sherwood, which is pretty good because literally a week ago the cold foils were selling for close to $60. There wasn't that many listings available, and like post the big launch retailer launch, now there's plenty of more to go around, so the prices have kind of started to settle. Same thing with Ursula, Deceiver of All. This card was super hyped because of that error basically, where it was printed in Storyborn, not Dreamborn, and we don't necessarily have a confirmed errata coming or anything like that, but the price has come down significantly, so they're no longer selling for the non-foils within that $40-ish range. We have plenty of sales happening for $30, $30.26 right here, $30.25. Lowest verified today though is by Gamers XP, $31, and they have 3 of them for you, so that's kind of a come up in my opinion. You know, you're gonna get all 3 for $31. That's not bad at all, and there's plenty of cold foils to go around. There's 69 listings, and they're no longer in the $60 range. You can pay $42 by TN Lorcana with $8 shipping, so that's always nice to see some of these card prices coming down now that there's way more available. But if you compare these to like the first chapter legendaries, there's a lot more listings for like these cards than there would be for like something like Maleficent Monster Dragon, so that explains a lot why the Maleficent Monster Dragon is more of like a $70 cold foil, you know, or even something like Sad Beast, which is like not widely available because the set's been out for a while, so people definitely have already been, you know, getting those cards already, and once they get them, they keep them. So many people I know are making master sets of Lorcana, and it just reminds me that like they're basically taking out cards from the card pool and it's making cards a lot more scarce.
Yeah, and I know by far that the recent copies of this card, you know, its sales are just dramatically going, its prices are dramatically going down, and we always feel like there's a buyer's market when there's cards that have their cold foil versions not double the price. So Robin Hood and Ursula might be the cold foils you would like to buy if you've been thinking about buying them again. This is just for the people that have been looking to purchase these cards and have been waiting for a price point that it seems a little bit better to buy in at. If I was buying them at 30, if I was looking for cold foils, I'd buy them at 35, no questions asked. So if I see a $35 price point, I'm clicking add to my cart and clicking,
Right.
the buy now button.
Yeah, speaking of cards that have been dramatically coming down in price, Jimbo Hawkins definitely fell in price in the last couple of weeks. They were selling for as low as $18 to $17 over the weekend for the non-foils. Actually, more like $19, you know. And as of today, they're starting to hit $20. Gamers XP has you for as low as $20.77 for, and they have 2 of them right there ready for you to go. People are definitely playing this card, but not as much as we thought it was going to happen. And the cold foils also came down in price. I actually paid about $40 for both my cold foils, and today, oh my goodness, this is super cheap. Look at this. The cold foil lowest verified is $26.70. That's only like $5-6 more than the non-foil. So exactly what you were saying. Like, this is this cold foil price is very close to the non-foil cold price. So I like this. Like, this is actually like a good price to get a cold foil Jim Hawkins right now. Or you can also go through this unverified seller for $25 with $2 shipping. I think that's not bad at all. You know what I mean? Wow, that's actually really surprising. I did not expect the cold foil for this to be so cheap when the non-foils are still about $20. Let me add this to my cart, actually. Zach, don't take this from me. I got it first.
That's totally fine. I do have my copies already for my master set. You are more than welcome to have them. I think you need them more than me.
all right, but yeah, we have some other trending legendaries that I want to talk about that are seeing some meta play in these weekend tournaments that just passed, which is making the price go up just a little bit. Scarvicious Cheater has been seeing a lot more meta play in decks like Ruby Sapphire, even some in Ruby Amethyst, and because of that, they're no longer selling for less than $5. All the ones that were in $5 range sold already, so lowest verified is going to be by TN Lorcana for $6 with $1 shipping. Then Mox Valley Games has you right after for around $7, so it's not too big a deal. It's only gone up like $2, but still, Going up $2 over the weekend because of some tournament news. That's a big deal to me. I feel like in general, cards are hyped and people want to try out some cards in their deck. And I like this card actually in Ruby Sapphire. It ended up doing a lot more than I thought it was gonna do, especially with all these insane locations running around. I felt very confident playing this card in my deck yesterday, and it just goes to show that like a lot of these tournaments, following the tournament reports is definitely gonna cause hype in the market, but does kind of showcase what exactly cards can do in a format when we don't necessarily have time in the world to play test. Because I've been so busy, I had no time to play test Lorcana, so sometimes I just be net decking lists, and I just ended up liking it, Cold foil scars are going to be $17.50 with $1.20 shipping by Pokai right here, lowest verified. So almost $20 for the cold foil, and around $7 for the non-foil for the scar. Carefree Surfer Stitch also going back up in price. These were selling for like around $10 at one point, bro. It was actually kind of crazy to me. Today we had some sales for $12, $14. That's 4 of them for you though. $13 for 3 of them. 11, 12. So it's like a $12 to $13 non-foil Blackwater card shop here. $12 with $1.50 shipping, almost $15. You know what I mean? As you keep going down, they start to hit that $13 range pretty quickly. And the cold foils definitely going up in price. Lowest verified for the cold foil is going to be by Brothers TCG, $45 with $5 shipping. So it's like a $50 plus cold foil legendary, man. I'm telling you, these cold foil legendaries, like I love to see it. They're just going up in price, especially the first chapter ones. And there are some cheaper ones right here from non-verified sellers by this dude Tomo for $37, but it's still $5 shipping. So, you're still going to be paying around $45 for these cold foil first chapter legendaries, which is nice to see because, I'm just very much an advocate for getting cold foils for some of these cards because the prices definitely are a little more stable.
Somewhere out there, Cold Foil Legendary Man is out there buying all those Cold Foil Legendaries up. I know he is. So Cold Foil Legendary Man, wherever you are, make sure you get your Carefree Surfer Stitch too, because it's at a price I have not seen it at in a while. I've seen normals sell at this price.
Oh yeah, and once again, like these are some non-verified listings, so I think these are like at a discount. You know what I mean? We talk about this all the time, but like in person, like as you can see here, the next sellers that have like 5,000 plus sales, they are listing the card for around $50 plus, like almost $55, which is more than reasonable in my opinion. Somebody was actually left a comment asking us to go over some of the more stable cards in Lorcana. Overall, either ranging from like uncommons, commons to like legendaries, and honestly, most of the commons and uncommons in all the sets are going to be pretty cheap. They're going to be mostly penny cards. Even most of the cold foil commons and uncommons are not going to be expensive, but a lot of these first chapter cold foil legendaries, they maintain their value, they maintain their price. We've seen it over time. We've seen how this card in like October was selling for like $80+, and yeah, it kind of fell out of style because we have way more cards to play, but it's still like a $50 cold foil legendary, and I think that's like pretty decent. So in the future, like this card is always gonna have some playability, I think, and even if you're just a collector, these are good prices I think to collect these cold foils at right now. Bell Strange but Special is another card that I always feel strongly about. I like this card a lot. It's just good in almost every format, and it's a princess, so it does have that collectability of it. And most of the cold foils usually stick around that $40 to $45 range. The non-foil right now is going to be by Garrettsville Games for $20 if you want to pick up a non-foil. So it has come down a little bit since the beginning of the format because they were selling for closer to $25-$30. But the cold foils are still in that $40 range. Prodigy Games has you for $40.99. After that, though, Health Points TCG has you for $45, basically $44.95. So, a lot of these first chapter legendaries still very much keeping a stable price, in my opinion. I think it's worth if you're collecting some of these cold foils. I like the first chapter legendaries right now. A lot of the first chapters just going up. You know what I mean? And like you were saying before, it's because, it's hard to find now. People want the very first of Lorcana. And there are a bunch of restocks constantly, but it just still seems like I don't see them on the shelf ever.
No, this card is actually a card that I have a good amount of in my inventory. It's just not a card that gets asked for. It probably will see more popularity with the Lucky Dime play, being able to play her and gain the lore right away. So even when they kill her, you got that 5 lore. And speaking of Lucky Dime, what?
Exactly.
What happened?
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. What? So, first of all, I want to mention there are some like hater goons who be saying random stuff about how the market watch videos influence the prices and yada yada yada. But like, dude, when I looked at this card on Friday, this card was $4. There was a tournament. There was 2 tournaments that happened over the weekend. One tournament was an online tournament. Every Sapphire list played Lucky Dime. that was in that top 16. They played at least one copy of Lucky Dime. And now we wake up Monday to do the Monday Market Watch video, and this card has tripled in price. And people have the audacity to blame the Lorcana Goons Market Watch for market jump increases. Like, come on, guys, you really think Market Watch videos have anything to do with this? My personal opinion, you know, if you really care about that, then you should just not watch YouTube. You should just not keep up with the meta because the meta is what's dictating these prices. Look at this Zach Stone. Plenty of sales happening for this card today. $17. Whoever bought these for $6.50, come up. You know, you definitely got a good price right there. 15, 13. It was literally overnight, dude. And just constant sales, a bunch of sales. And basically this card is played in Sapphire Steel or Ruby Sapphire. A lot of the Sapphire Steel players have started playing this card in their main deck, and it's pretty good. Like you just said, some people playing it with Bell, Stranger Special, some people not playing Bell at all. There's only 16 listings left though, and lowest verified is going to be by It All Must Go for $15 and $2 shipping. They have 6 of them ready for you, so if you want to get your Lucky Dimes, you can get them all from one seller right here. But yeah, if you didn't get them at $5, you're gonna have to be paying $15 now.
I do want to mention that the influence that there may or may not be, it doesn't necessarily mean that the Market Watch doesn't have a direct influence. Some people will probably buy some cards after watching our videos, and that's okay. But there is more than just one reason. There is more than just one actual thing happening and why it's going on. We have to really acknowledge that the influence comes from the meta trends, the playability, and the overall, performance of the decks that do well in the tournaments that we see. And I can only really express how when I see cards being played in high-level pixel-born ladder games, I can't help but notice that, I'm seeing this card played a lot more. Maybe this will go up. And I start telling people, hey, this card's being played a lot more. I let people know in person that this card might go up, especially when they purchase it from me. I wanna let people know what I think cards will go up and go down when they buy from me personally. So there's more than just one reason, and I notice meta trends a little bit quicker as well. And I've been telling Kevin about this card, I think, for the past at least week and a half, 2 weeks after I saw a Sapphire Amethyst deck do a combo with the Lucky Dime Magica Dispel, and I'm like, well, this card does seem like it has some OTK potential. So
yeah.
It only goes to show.
In no way am I trying to downplay any influence we have on people's interest in buying Lorcana cards. Quite frankly, I think it's awesome that people watch our videos and then they go around and decide to buy Lorcana. You know what I mean? I think we do an awesome promo PR for the game because it's an awesome game, and I'd love to see more people get into the game. So never would I ever say that we do not make an influence either. But yeah, man, exactly like you said, Zach definitely let me know. Hey, Lucky Dimes, they're definitely being asked for at my booth. Maybe you should look into them. Zach texted me like Friday night, Saturday morning, saying like, everyone's asking for Lucky Dimes. You should maybe pick up some foil Lucky Dimes, and that's exactly what I did. I bought 3 cold foil Lucky Dimes, and I got them for around $10. And today, lowest verified for the cold foil Lucky Dime is going to be Fortune's Future. For $24.69, they have 2 of them for you. And the next person is YGO Memes Kevin. They have them for $25.25 with $1.22 shipping. And after that, it goes to $28. Buy it all must go. So there's only 3 listings left for the cold foil Lucky Dimes, and they're all listed at $25-ish. Look at these cold foils though. They've been selling for $24.50, $22.50, $22.50. I mean, if you could find one for less than $20, like, why not, right? Now, do you think this is hype, or do you think there's going to be more listings available very soon? I think we're going to see more listings go up for this card very soon. I feel like a lot of it is people just haven't really noticed that the card is that expensive, and once people start talking about it on social media, I've already seen posts on Twitter talking about how, oh, Lucky Dime is like super expensive now, you know? So I think a lot of other sellers are going to start listing the card. It'll probably go down a little bit, and quite frankly, this card is good, but it stops being good the moment people start playing Benja in their deck again, the moment people start playing Rise of the Titans at 3 to 4 in their deck again. The card isn't as good after that. So I do think it is good right now, but I also feel like this card has fragility in the meta as well. So I personally, like, if it was me, I'm not gonna pay $25, $30 for a foil Lucky Dime. I don't even want to pay $15 for a Lucky Dime. I feel like it's a good card, but you don't even play 4 of them in most of the decks you're playing. You're probably playing like 2 max, maybe 3, but even then, like, Like it's a good card, but the fact that there's only 16 listings makes this price so high. I feel like personally it might settle down to around $10 as time goes on. So if you need the card like right now and you're gonna buy it in person, you know, spend your money. But if you and if you don't mind waiting 2 weeks for it to get to your house, then pay $15. But I feel like if you order it today and in those 2 weeks that it takes for the card to get to your house, the price is going to be probably a little bit lower.
The card will go down and the increase of listings will go up. There are a lot of people that have probably had this card that aren't necessarily aware of the market watches, or sorry, aware of the market without the market watches. So when this video drops and they notice that the price is what it is, they might go out and sell theirs. And again, it's a wave. We'll see it go up. We'll see it go down. But this is no longer a $5 card. This now will stay up. And that's the impact that I really want to mention, is that the hype drives it up. It's the demand will increase, but so will the supply, and that creates a balance. But this card is no longer $5, guys. So just keep that in mind.
Yep, yeah, if you have it in your trade binder and you were considering getting rid of it or something, be sure to value it the right price. You do not want to get rid of this for $5 when it's $15, you know what I mean? But yeah, some other cool cards that are definitely keeping their value. Whole New World, a very stable card in the market. I love this card personally. 1722, lowest verified by Lightning Bolt Games for a near mint. Whole New World, they have 14 of them for you, so you could just get them all from this one seller, which is nice to see. Whole New World being super popular in Amber Steel Song or something like Sapphire Steel, which are honestly some of the best decks of the format. Sapphire Steel actually took first place in that tournament, the online Teo Beastie tournament, and Amber Steel Song took first place in the Charlie's Collectible Show tournament. So this card being played in both first place lists, which are actually two entirely different color combinations, which is no wonder why it is almost a $20 super rare card. And the cold foils are still maintaining that hefty value of almost $30. A Mint Mart has you for $28.99. Hella Cards has you for $31.99. Wow, that is expensive, bro. Do you have cold foil Whole New Worlds?
Oh, I've had my set for a long time. And just to be clear, everybody, a lot of the cards that I own and play with are foils. I advocate for that because of myself. I buy them, and I do like to play and collect with them. They would probably hold them more value long term. And I don't look at it as necessarily like a loss when I buy a card and I see it go down, because my goal is to have cards to play with for a long time. And I do play this game as well as sell it. So most of my incentive is just to own the cards to play with rather than resell every foil I get. But that being a $30 price point does make me happy. I won't lie. It does feel good to know that the cards I own are going up. But the monetary gain I won't get from it because I don't plan on selling them.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, I'm the same way, man. Like, a lot of it for me is, like, if I'm playing the cards and I'm using the cards, I've already won. I've already plussed. I've already gained, like, stonks value because I'm using the cards to play tournaments and I'm winning some extra prizing. But, you know, if you're ever in a pickle, these cards, these extra collectibles act as, like, extra assets, I think, you know, which is always nice to see. So, you know, I do have a fat collection of, like, non-foil or even some foil cards, and I do list on TCG Player as well. So whenever I need some extra funds, I just start listing cards. Kind of like these lucky dimes that I picked up. You know, I'm already listing them, and I'm gonna take advantage of the hype because like you said, it's a wave. You know, it goes up, it goes down. There's scarcity, and then there's availability, and it all plays an impact on the market. But you know, but if you're just trying to get cards at good prices at the right times, you know, we've been advocating for cold foils for the longest time. I get the feeling if you were watching the market watches from December to February, January, you remember when we were talking about meta staples and talking about how Whole New World is never going to be a bad card. It's almost one of those cards that you would even go as far as to argue deserves to be on a ban list. And just want to point that out. Who knows what they're going to talk about in this Lorcana cast that's happening on March 20th, right? This Wednesday. They're going to be announcing some special things, so we'll see what happens. You know, not to say it's going to be a ban list, but man, I've been seeing people talk about how this card deserves to be banned. It's an amazing card, but and it is now a $30 plus cold foil, and it's very much deserved. But Rockstar Stitch, another super rare card, also going up in price. It's just been climbing and climbing in the last couple weeks or so. I love to see it. I can't believe this card was selling for less than $5 at some point. Gamers XP has you for $9.90. Blorg's Hobby Shop has you for $10.62, and it's basically now an $11 super rare card for the non-foil range, which is cool, man. The cold foils were like $10 at some point. Let's see what the cold foils are at right now. Only $15 by Core TCG. Shout out you guys, Southern California locals, awesome to see. So $15 I think is a good price to pay for your cold foil Rockstar Stitches when the non-foils are already $11 to $12. You know, this is literally only like what?
They steal.
Yeah, that's a steal, bro. And you know what? It's not a steal for anybody else but your boy over here, because I'm going to take it. But the next verified is actually going to be on the next page, and it'll start hitting like $16, $17 on the cold foil. So that's kind of nice, actually. Can't complain there. Cannot complain there for the Rockstar Stitch. Some other cool cards that are going up in price. Tinkerbell, Giant Fairy. Check this out. I can't believe I sold some of these for around $10 because now they're around $12. Marcuse's merch has you for the near mint for $11.18 with $1 shipping. Gamers and Geeks has you for $10 with $1.22 shipping. So it's like an $11 to $12 cold foil. And a lot of these cold foils are starting to sell, which is cool to see. Lowest verified is now $20.88 with $1.29 shipping. So almost $22 for that cold foil now. They were less than 20, around 20-ish bucks at one point. Now they're kind of starting to jump up a little bit.
To Tinkerbell Giant Fairy for being like the most stable priced card in like all of Lorcana for like a long time. I definitely remember her being like $30 something for a normal copy in the very beginning. But when we first saw its, prices hit their downward decline, it hit very low, but never stayed below like $8 to $9, and has never really gone back up to like 15. So we're seeing like the most stable pricing right now, and that's a very good sign because this is a card from the first chapter, and we're seeing like a super rare, not really like going dramatically up, dramatically down. This is like a healthy sign for the game, meaning this card is still seeing play and still being used.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you mentioned in the beginning how expensive it was too, because like in the very beginning of Lorcana, the game was so scarce, and there was so much scalping going around that's what made these prices so expensive. And now that there's an actual like availability to play the game, we're starting to see the actual true value of some of these cards, and like you said, like how stable they can actually be and how reliable they can be. Like cards like Tinkerbell, Giant Fairy, even cards like Maui Hero to All from the first chapter. These are rare cards that are starting to shoot up in price because I want to say we almost just took it for granted. You know what I mean? This card has been good every single format. First chapter, Rise of the Floodborn, into the Inklands. This card just gets better and better. Lowest verified today, if you want a Maui, is going to be by Friendly Market for $15. Remember when this card was like $4, bro? I can't believe it. And I was saying it too, man. I love showing off how our meta interests in this game, because we were talking about how much Maui is going to make an impact in a format where locations are dominating. Because this card alone basically makes it so that you can't play most locations in most decks, especially in combination with that Maui's Fish Hook. It's gonna let you clear any location in the game, dude.
Yeah, this card has definitely seen a huge increase, and I remember a couple people talking to me about like they wanted to kind of buy a bunch and kind of go in more as a little investment for themselves, and I don't know what they may or may not have done. So hopefully they did, because when they were talking about this card was around $6 to $7, and that is a double up. And again, this is like another thing that I do wanted to mention now that Kevin has the cold foils up there. That is only $5 more than the normal version. Why pay for a normal for 14 or 15 when the foil is $19? One goes up or down, right? And foils never seem to go down; they only seem to go up. And normals only seem to go down; they never seem to go up when this price kind of hits this little spot. So get your foils if you have been looking to buy them when the prices have that sort of indication. So
yeah,
by all means, guys, the market watch goons themselves are adding things to their cart as we go on.
You can see me doing it, right? Yeah, I'm doing it before people do it because I love these prices, man. Exactly like you're saying. I've seen it happen way too many times. I've done it on videos. We've seen it happen in videos way too many times where the cold foil prices are so close to the non-foil prices, and there's always more non-foils to go around. It's so hard to pull like the cold foils you want to pull in Lorcana, so there's always going to be way more availability for the non-foils than cold foils. So if I'm seeing only $4 more for this card, then I'm going to get it, because my gut is telling me that the non-foils are either going to come down eventually in price, and I'm just going to prefer having cold foils for this card. So I did add 2 of them to my cart because somebody had 2 of them for in one listing, and I think that's a come up. You know what I mean? So I do want to go through with that and go with my gut. But next up we have Be Prepared. Zach, how do you feel about Be Prepared this format? $8.99. Lowest verified is actually going to be more than that though. $10.98 by C Productions TCG. It's a $10 rare now. It's actually like an $11 rare now. Look at that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a card that's the only card that does what it does. I keep always mentioning that there's no card like this right now. Um, the cold foils don't seem to be dramatically high. Well, there's not too many listings that are cheap, I would say, but they definitely go up. I think this is more of a fairer price point. I do believe it's like a should be like a $10, $11 to $20 discrepancy. It almost makes sense that if it's the Tinkerbell Giant Fairy price point.
Yeah. So the rares are like $11 and the cold foils are like $16, almost getting to 20. Not yet though. But whenever this card was less than $10, like I always felt like that was a good trade. That was a good come up. You know what I mean? Because like you said, there's no other card in the game that does this. It's similar to cards like Fishbone Quill, dude. Fishbone Quill. Very good every single format. It's just it's good the first chapter. It's been good until this recent format, and we've seen how powerful Sapphire Steel can be, Sapphire Ruby, and if you're just somebody who likes playing the color of Sapphire, you're definitely gonna need these in your deck. I want to say in this format and every future format, and it just goes to show with these card prices, because today lowest verified is now by Friendly Market $6 and $1 shipping, and if Be Prepared is a $10 rare. I don't see why a card like Fishbone Quill might not get there in the future as well. There is less prevalence with playing Sapphire decks, but we've just seen how good Sapphire can be now and in the future. You know what I mean?
This is a card in all forms, normal and cold foil. I actually have zero quantities of in my inventory. Not too many people sell me this card back. Only a handful of people that are selling cards are selling like first chapter and Rise of Floodborn singles. There's a good amount of Inklands to go around, but just keep in mind, guys, the first chapter cards, they seem to be the most playable so far. They cards like Fishbone Quill and Be Prepared are not going anywhere for a long time.
Yeah, dude, and same thing. When I got my staples from first chapter, I just kept them in a binder. I never got rid of them. Cards like Hades, Tamatoa, Fishbone Quill, even cards that I'm not playing, like just Elsa's, Ursula's, stuff that I just feel strongly like I never want to have to look for again. I just keep them. And I'm sure a lot of other players do that too. It's probably why people don't really sell this card to you, because they think to themselves, oh, well, if I'm not playing Sapphire right now, I'll probably play it in the future. And with that being said, I'll probably hold on to my Fishbone Quills. And, it's a very playable card. Lowest verified for the cold foil is around $12 by Zig's Card House. So shout out you for that low price. And I just feel like these cards are never going to go out of style. Very strong, very strong. And there's a couple other first chapter cards that are constantly going up, like Maleficent biding her time. We saw Zach Bivens get top 4 with a deck that basically costs $70. You know what I mean? And it was more of an aggro style deck, and he was playing 4 copies of this, and you play 4 copies of this in Emerald Amethyst as well. You can play a Ruby Amethyst version with this card. It's very budget, very aggressive friendly, and because of its popularity, we're seeing the card price go back up a little bit to more than $5. Lock and Roll Games has you for $4.50 with the $1.22 shipping, so that's almost like a $6 rare now. Troll and Toad, the OGs, $5.18 with shipping included, so that's kind of cool to see. Yeah, man, Maleficent biding her time, going up in price alongside cards like Flynn Rider. Look at this, man, the uncommon Flynn Rider. This is another card. When I have these, I just hold on to them because I don't want to ever have to look for these again. They were so hard to find in the first chapter that I was basically traumatized, and I told myself I'm never gonna look for Flynn Riders ever again. And it's only an uncommon, but this is probably the most expensive uncommon in Lorcana. Lowest verified is gonna be by Zen Stalio. They have you for $2.20 with the $1.22 shipping. It's like a $3 uncommon now. After that though, plenty of unverified setters have you for 99 cents with an extra dollar sum shipping. So it's about a $2 to $3 uncommon still. And these were selling for as low as like 50 cents back in like 2 weeks ago in February when people were not playing Emerald as much. But now that Emerald seems to be back on top, yeah, it's coming back to be like a $2 to $3 uncommon card, which is cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes me feel a little bit better. There's not too many that I have left, but that card is being played more and seen a lot play. Emerald, I got a big place in my heart for Emerald, and I really want to make Emerald Steel eventually. I'm gonna build that deck from the ground up and just have my own take on it. But it does feel good to own a lot of foil Emerald cards, and yes, that is a card I own 4 copies of.
Yeah, the cold foils are pretty cheap too right now, man. $2 with $1.22 shipping, which is basically almost the same
The
thing.
same price.
Right, right. That's so Brandon Hughes. Shout out you. Only 13 sales, but I'm gonna give you one more sale right here, bro. And yeah, there's a couple people who have it for super cheap still, and I feel like cold foil Flynns are just gonna be staples as well. The card is just that good. I think the card is that good in Emerald, and it's always gonna be used. It's a quest for 2, makes your opponent discard a card, adding it to my cart. But almost to the end of this video, we have Madam Mim Fox. I've noticed this card going up in price as well. Another card that people just won't part ways with because there's just no need to. Comes in the starter deck, but do you really want to crack open a whole starter deck just for this one card, you know? So it has been like picking up in price a little bit. Lowest verified today is going to be $4.69 by JTCG Cards. It's heavily played though. Oops, I want to look for a near mint. No, if you want a near mint, we got to go Mark MTG right here for $6. So it's now a $6 rare. Yeah, check that out. Madam Mim Fox, a $6 rare from the starter deck. And look at this, only 5 listings for the cold foil, and lowest verified is by Fine Lux Cardboard for basically $14, almost $15. 1060 with $3.72 shipping. That's like a $15 cold foil rare, bro. So, congrats if you were picking up these cards and during the formats when they were way less, because the cold foils have been less than $10 for the longest time, and lowest verified now is about $15. Let's see if there's any cold foil sales. Yeah, $8.40 somebody bought one for, and then around $9 is what they've been selling for, but you can't see the shipping, so there might be a little bit more with that shipping. So dude, after this one sells, the next listing is $20. So can you believe it? This card might actually hit $20 on the cold foil range. This card's just amazing, by the way, so it makes sense why it's that expensive.
Been very on the uptick. I remember having a conversation with one of my buddies, and he was telling me, yeah, I've been selling Foxes all day at like $3-4. I'm like, dude, that is not a $3-4 card. Please go online. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, man.
And again, that is just how it goes. You may not know what the price is, today, because yesterday it was different. And I always say this is like this does fluctuate day to day. The prices does kind of replicate some other forms of currency in the market. But I do say that you gotta just be aware of what people are paying, and also know a price that you want to pay on something. Whether the price is what it is, and if you don't want to pay that, you don't have to, and that is okay.
Yep, you want to make sure you get the right value for your cards, though. So every time you're trading, every time you're watching these videos, pull out your phone and make sure you check the card, because the price might be different than it was a couple hours ago. We've seen that with Lucky Dime. Literally 2 days ago, Lucky Dime has tripled in price. And some other cool last card that I want to go over that has been really popular in terms of the new Into the Inkland set is this rare Rafiki. These were selling for like 40 cents, 30 cents in the beginning of the format because nobody really cared for it. And as of today, you're going to have to pay around $3 plus shipping for this Rafiki. $2.25 with the $1.22 shipping by Frog TCG. It's like a $4 rare now. This card's seeing a lot of popularity play in Ruby Amethyst and Amethyst Emerald as well. Awesome card. It's like a Captain Hook for your Amethyst stuff, and they're around $3 to $4. I would say even almost $5 getting pretty soon. These cold foils, though, look at that, $5.15 for a cold foil. Not anymore, that's mine. But after that, it'll probably start hitting $6 close. Lemporium LLC $4.25, lowest verified with $1.22 shipping. So almost $6 for the cold foil and about $3 for the non-foil. And I think this card's going to be a staple to come in the future for Lorcana, because this card's just really good in Amethyst. And in the future, if they ever make more Hyena cards, you get that little extra effect for no reason. It's kind of hilarious.
I always tell people that the second Hyenas are a meta. This card is the best card.
But yeah, man, that is going to be all for this week's Market Watch Monday. Thank you so much, Zach Stone, for joining me. Thank you, Lorcana Goons, for tuning in. I do have a quick announcement. I am going to be leaving the country for around 10 days starting this Thursday. So I'm going to try and film a Market Watch on Thursday night, so it's up on Friday morning. But I don't know what I'm going to do about the next Monday and Friday. So please be patient with me. There is a chance that I do get to film it out in Guatemala. You know what I mean? But I don't know what my internet situation is going to be like out there. Or there is a scenario where I let Zach take the wheel and do it, and I shoot him a couple bucks, because obviously we're a monetized channel. But for in the meantime, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, and I do want to say thank you. Zach Stone, do you have any final words to say?
I'm very grateful for all the feedback and all the support. Definitely let us know what you think about some of these prices that you like and that you don't like. And again, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you Goons next time.